path length or distance. This path length is defined as the actual path which has been traversed by a body. For example, this is the starting point and this is the ending point. If the body moved from point A to point B along this path, that means the body is going through this point C to reach point B. Then this whole length is CB. This whole length is known as the path length, or we can say it is the distance. Okay. So distance is the actual length of the path which is being traveled by a moving body. And this distance here is a scalar quantity because it has no direction but only magnitude. Okay. The SI unit of distance is meter, but when you talk about the motions of a car, then the unit meter, it is too small because imagine the amount of kilometer that a car is travel. Okay, so that amount of distance a car travel is always measured in kilometers. But for the SI unit, we use it as meter. Okay, next, displacement. Displacement is defined as the change in the positions of an object. Okay, so if this is the initial point and this is the final point, if the body move from A to B, let's say he can move along either ACB or he can move straight. And if he moves straight, then what happens to the length? The length AB will be smaller than the length ACB, isn't it? So I can define now a displacement as the shortest distance between the initial point and the final point. Okay? Displacement is a vector quantity. Why? Because it has both magnitude and direction. Okay? If a body is traveling straight from A to B, then how much is the distance? Let's say 2 meter. And in which direction does it move? It moves from initial to final point. So this is the directions of the moving body. So that is why displacement is a vector quantity. All right. Okay. Next. Displacement can be positive, negative, or zero. Whereas the distance, it is always positive. So let us have a look to understand about that situation. Suppose this is a straight line motion. When I say straight line motion, I mean the motions of an object along x-axis. Okay, so this is my x-axis and this is the origin. All right, let me draw properly. This is the origin. From the origin towards right, the positions of x are positive, and from the origin towards left, the positions of the x-axis is negative. Okay, now let us choose this number 10, 20, 30, 40, and so on. This is minus 10, minus 20, minus 30, and so on. All right. Now these number here represents the positions of a moving body. Let's say we measure them in meter. So these numbers stands for the distance in meter. Okay. Now, let me name this as a point O. And if the object move from point O, let's say to a point P, along this straight line, then how much is the distance in that case? From O to P, the distance is equals to how much? What is the distance? Distance is defined as the actual length. Now the actual length is from here to here, it is equals to 40. meter. What about displacement? Displacement is equals to how much? Because displacement is defined as the change in the positions of an object. When I say change in positions of an object, it means final position minus initial position. The final position is 40, initial position is 0. So when you subtract, you'll get 40. Okay, 40 meter. So this 40 meter, it is just a number, or I can say it is only the magnitude. But you know displacement is a vector. So there should be a direction. So in which direction this body is moving? So for that, we look at this number. 40 is greater than 0. So that means this answer comes out to be positive because 40 is more positive than 0. So the positive sign here indicates that the body is moving towards the positive value of x-axis. Okay. Next, consider another case that the object is moving from P to Q. When the object moves from P to Q, then what is the distance? Distance, as I said, it is the actual length. So the actual length here, it is from here to here, it is how much? This unit is equals to 10, this is equals to 10, so actual length is equals to 10, 10 means 20 meter. What about displacement? Displacement is final position. It starts from P, it ends at Q. So final position is 20 minus initial position is 40. So when you subtract, you'll get minus 20 because 40 is greater than 20. So the answer comes out to be negative. So this negative sign here shows the directions of the displacement. So the displacement in this case is directed towards the negative side of the x-axis. Alright. Next case is if the object, let's say it starts from O, it goes to P, and from P it comes back to O. So when the object goes from O to P and comes back to O, then how much is the distance? Distance is the actual length. So actual length is from here to here it is 40. From here to here again 40. So actual length is 80 meter. And what about displacement? Displacement is equals to, okay, it starts from O, it goes to P and comes back to O. So for initial position is here, final position also is here. So therefore the displacement is final position minus initial position, which means 0 meter. Okay. So note at this example. In the first case, we have displacement is 40 meter. Second case, 20 meter. Third case, 80 meter. So this means that distance is always positive. Okay. Look at the displacement. The displacement here is positive. Here it is negative. Here it is 0. So therefore, the displacement may be positive or negative or 0 depending upon the directions of motions of a body. Okay. And when does distance is equals to the magnitude of the displacement? The distance is equals to the magnitude of the displacement only in this case. Distance is 40, displacement is 40. This happens at a time when the object is moving in a straight line in a single direction. Okay, in the increasing direction of x-axis. So only in that case, then we have distance is equals to the magnitude of displacement. Okay, so please note down about the sign plus and minus. So this plus and minus we are using about the directions of displacement.